So then, yeah, One Punch Man 102, Sweet Mask. This chapter, it was short and sweet. Guess the name of the character! No, it was a good chapter. There's not a lot to talk about really with it, but I think it's kind of what they're going for with these next few chapters is what I guess. I think most of these fights that we're going to see from now on are going to be fights that we don't even see. So yeah, you're not really putting a, so we're not even going to see the fights that we're seeing. Yeah, and I think that was shown obviously with Pig God, and I think it's going to be the same with My Mask, and then whatever else we see in the future too. I like, just to round off these fights against like the demon class, so okay, we can get to the fights against the executive, so we can get here for what we're really seeing, because we've got the fight against Flashy Flash, like that was more of that was I suppose more for story. Same with the fight with Child Emperor and Phoenix Man, because that was all just to show like, oh okay, this is what, like, you know, the power of limit breaking and things like that is. And then of course the fight with Zombie Man was to show, oh, this is what Zombie Man can do. And I think like we kind of know a decent amount about the others, except for My Mask, but I don't think we're going to see it. And you know what, I'll start talking about the chapter. So start off with Pig God, and he meets up with, I had to look up his name, Great Food Tub. And the thing is, Pig God is looking at him nonchalantly. There's not really a lot to say about this fight, because if Pig God's going to eat him, that's how it's going to end, because Great Food Tub's like, oh, I finally find something worth eating, and then he goes to attack him. We don't even see it, and like next time we see him, either there's going to be a bit there, or nothing's to be left. Pig God's just going to have some like, you know, some food around his mouth, some like, maybe some blood and things like that. He's just going to let out a big burp or something, and I accept that. I know that's going to happen. That's like, it just makes sense, because that's what's happened. Every time an S-Class hero's gone up against a demon, they've wrecked the demon. There's no way, like, he's not going to get a fight, just maybe like a couple scratches or something, but we obviously don't know how, like, no, we haven't seen Pig God actually fight. We've only seen him eat, so it'll be interesting to see how, like, if someone attacks him, maybe it's like, you know, they bounce off his foul or something. We'll wait to see what Pig God does to talk about that. But while that's going on, we know that near them is Ion, Bushido, and Okomotachi. And they are all there, and, like, you know, they're being prepared to fight against, Super S, apparently, and Narinki's Private Squad, which actually surprised me, to be honest, because when I've been trying to figure out who's going to match up who, and like, maybe because it's too much in Shonen, it's like, oh, so like, the main character's going to fight this guy, and like, there's themes there, so like, One Piece, for example, if there's a guy with a sword, generally, they're going to fight Zoro, or like the main guy's going to fight Luffy, and you can kind of like pair them up that way, and like I thought the way they set up some things was so like, oh okay, so I thought, because obviously with Super S and Fubuki's fight before, maybe they'd settled that, same with like, and also because how we started with the ninjas fighting Flashy Flash, but we didn't get that, and that's absolutely okay with me, because obviously we didn't really get to see what they can do, but I'm liking the surprises, what I'm making with that point. I like the idea of trying to think of stuff, it's like, actually no, this is happening, like, okay, I appreciate this. So the fight itself, there wasn't a lot to talk about with the fight. It was fairly basic, really, except like this chapter, in a way, is like the most beautiful, like attractive chapter. I don't know, because there are so many panels of Super S, right? And she's a very scantily clad monster, just swinging everything she's got around. And then with her My Mask showing up later, it's like, okay, here's like the ultimate like girl monster against the ultimate guy monster. We'll get into that. The fight itself, I can't really say a lot about, because we didn't really get to see the swordsmen do what they can do. Like, first of all, Bushido, I don't know if it's just me, I just think he looks really good. Like, maybe because he's just a traditional samurai, but I just love his drawing. Like, whenever he's drawing, he actually looks really, like, the detail on him is really nice. I remember all the way back from, like, when the swordsman met up before, and Bushido had that one panel that looked amazing, and maybe, like, it stuck in my head because of that, but, like, even that panel was like, let's go! And then, like, just his face, like, just any panel he's in, he looks good. It's a great design, I think, for Bushido. But we didn't actually get, like I said, we didn't get to see his sword. I suppose the cool thing about this fight, more than anything, was we got to see, like, the different kind of weapons that that Narinki's squad had. So, like, one had, like, I can't remember the name of the weapon. Like the staff with, like, the blade at the end. Someone had one of those. So someone had knives, gun, all kinds of weapons. And I like that kind of thing. I would have liked to have seen this fight take place, but I also understand that they're trying to push the story forward. So it's not like a big thing that we didn't see this fight. And I'm sure we'll get to see what the three of them can do in the future, because they are A-class rank 2, 3, and 4. They are really the strongest A-class levels, because My Mask is basically S-class. So like, this fight wasn't a lot to say, just, yeah, it was there, and I was like, okay, that's fine, because this whole fight was basically just leading up to, one of the big things about the differences between it. So, okay, let's talk. So obviously, Super S launches the whip, catches it, and My Mask has a glove on when he catches it, so obviously he didn't feel any pain. Also, not only because he caught the whip, but it didn't actually make contact with him, so he was just like, that's there. Great panel there, by the way, of My Mask showing up. It's really good. And really with a My Mask, because he is that, like, he's the sweet mask, he's the handsome mask. The main thing to talk about with him is the shading of him, I find, is like, so in front of everyone, you know, so like, it's gonna sound crazy, but this is how I see it because of how it's shaded. Is like, obviously, as we know, My Mask has a bit of a darker side to him, so like, he's not always there for the heroes, and he's quite ruthless when he fights as well. We see this in, like, we saw this when he fought the caveman, I can't remember what rank he was, but like, he one-shot that. The monsters who showed up at his concert, he one-shot them as well, like, he made fools of them, and he has like this darker, like, more intimidating side, obviously, when he confronted the S-Class heroes. Things like that don't surprise me about My Mask, but like, it's even conveyed really good in the shading. So, like, for example, like, you look at that panel of him, he's like super bright and good, except there's like this tiny bit of him that's dark, and of course that's just lighting, you know. But it might speak that bit extra as well, because it also does later on in the chapter. So first of all, My Mask catches the whip, and then he's like, oh, I'll take care of this so far. And the main difference to talk about between the two of them is My Mask himself, like, when the swordsmen are there, like, right, so if we're going to do this, we are going to need to break the weapons, and then we're going to have to, you know, aim for the joints, because then we can just stop them from moving, and then we don't have to worry about them. Which I assume their plan was so they didn't harm them, because the battle suits were really strong, but they at least stopped them from moving so they could focus on Super S, and the hostages will be okay. Whereas later on in the chapter, you've also, My Mask like, I've got this is good. And even just like the background of it, it's like you got that shining light of him, because he's like, you know, he's the superstar, as Akamatachi describes him, and then like, and obviously, you know, he's like this really well-respected person to a lot of people, and they're like, you know, like, well, he's an idol, really, so he's a celebrity. It's like, I can only describe it as if Justin Timberlake was like, I'll handle this, you go over there. And you're like, well, it's Justin Timberlake, of course he's got it. Yeah, okay, see you later, Justin. But then the moment you turn around, it's what I like, when the public stop looking, well, like, it obviously, in this case, the swordsman of the public, but when the public stop looking at him, the dark side comes out, you know? The moment they turn around, they start heading off, this look on My Mask changes completely. And I don't even think we're going to see this fight as well, because obviously I think it's the same with Pig God, and like, the way they've shown a My Mask is they've tried to hide so much about him. I don't think they show what he can do in a fight like this. I think we're going to cut away, and when we come back, let's face it, they're all going to die. Like, a My Mask is no mercy. He is going to kill all of them because they are enemies of humanity now, because they work for a monster, and he's going to kill Super S. And he's gonna dominate the dominatrix, really. That's what he's going to do in this fight. I think we'll just, yeah, I'm going to cut back, they're going to be dead, and then My Mask, maybe he's about to finish off Super S, and then, yeah, we'll carry on from there. That's my prediction, at least, because of how much they've tried to hide him. I can't imagine them doing it now, because My Mask, I think, has obviously got a bigger role in the future. I might talk about my ideas about My Mask another day, but generally I think he's going to be a very big villain in the future. Just the way they've set him up against Saitama, personally, to me, like, I can't imagine, like, showing him off in this kind of small fight here too. They've showed him off a little in, like, when they attacked his concept, that was more for performance, because he's a performer at that time, he's not a hero, but when he's a hero, he's ruthless and merciless, as we saw when he took down the caveman from before. Also, something to note about My Mask's strength, more than anything, is, like, the swordsmen were concerned about using their swords against the battle armor, because they think they were breaking. So if we assume the swords are steel, and not some special metal, that the battle armors are a special metal that's stronger than steel. So if we cut back to it, and we see any of the battle armor, like, you know, broken, or like torn apart or anything like that, like, we see anything like that, that's a good gauge for us on a My Mask strength more than anything, because we can see from there, like, like, I suppose, if he's, like, we saw his strength anyway when he lifted up that giant bit of rubble, when all the heroes were going to the Monster Association, but obviously, breaking through something that's stronger than steel is very impressive. I think that's just something to keep our eyes out for, really. Yeah, nothing else to add. I suppose overall, yeah, a lot of Super S in a lot of poses, and she was obviously like, oh, I love slaves, everything like that, and like, I think she's going to get dominated, of course, and I think everyone else, I think, I haven't watched anyone else's reviews yet because I wanted to get mine out, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would feel the same. Want to see more of the swordsman, because obviously, like, especially Bushido, he looks cool, and he's actually got a drill sword, and it's different to the other two, so I'd like to see how he fights. Obviously, I imagine a lot of thrusting and piercing motions like that, that would make sense. Yes, I just want to, yeah, I want to see more of them, and I think they're just going to wrap this up, so I won't be surprised if we see, like, Devil Longhair versus Darkshine, for example, and we don't even really see that fight, because Darkshine's just like, bam, get out of the way. I'm thinking maybe Puri Puri as well will have someone there too. I'm thinking who else of the demon class monsters is left? I'm not sure. Because I think at this point we're just trying to get to the executive stuff, and I'm fine with that. I'm ready to... I like the demons, they've got cool designs, but they are supposed to be like... I think more than anything they're there to go like, yeah, they're cool, but the S-classes, this is to set up what the S-class heroes are like more than anything. But yeah, I like this chapter. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you want to see more. Give us a like. I'm late, I'm used to it, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Okay, see you guys.